The king of rock and roll wasn't just famous for his music. Elvis Presley's love life was as legendary as his career, filled with Hollywood starlets, beauty queens, and devoted fans. From his teenage years in Memphis to his final days at Graceland, Elvis left a trail of broken hearts and lasting romances. Some relationships were brief encounters, others changed his life forever. Here's the complete chronological list of Elvis's known girlfriends and romantic interests. Before the world knew Elvis Presley, there was Dixie Locke. She was his first serious girlfriend, a sweet Memphis girl he met at the First Assembly of God Church when they were both teenagers. Dixie was there when Elvis was just a shy kid with big dreams, driving around in his family's old Lincoln and working odd jobs to help his parents make ends meet. Their relationship was innocent and pure, typical teenage romance of the 1950s. They'd go to movies, church socials, and drive around Memphis talking about their futures. Dixie supported Elvis's musical ambitions when he was still playing small venues and recording at Sun Records for $4. But as Elvis's career began taking off in 1955, the pressures of fame started pulling them apart. The constant touring, screaming fans, and demands of his new lifestyle made it impossible to maintain their simple romance. Dixie later said she knew she was losing him to something bigger than both of them. During the summer of 1955, Elvis met Juanico in Biloxi, Mississippi. She was a local beauty queen with dark hair and striking features that caught the young star's attention immediately. Their romance was brief but intense, playing out over several months as Elvis was still adjusting to his newfound fame. June later wrote a book about their relationship, describing Elvis as charming but already showing signs of the pressures that would follow him throughout his career. Hollywood royalty meets rock and roll royalty. Elvis and actress Natalie Wood were rumored to have had a brief romance in 1956, when both were young stars navigating the entertainment industry. Wood was already an established child actor transitioning to adult roles, while Elvis was conquering both music and movies. Their relationship, if it existed, was kept largely private and didn't last long. Barbara Hearn was another Memphis girl who dated Elvis during his early fame years. She represented a connection to his hometown roots while his career was exploding nationally. Like many of Elvis's local girlfriends, Barbara had to compete with his demanding schedule and the constant attention from fans. Their relationship was casual but meaningful during a time when Elvis was still trying to balance his normal life with his extraordinary career. This was the love that almost was, and maybe the one that got away. Anita Wood wasn't just another girlfriend. She was Elvis's steady companion for 5 crucial years, the woman who believed she would become Mrs. Elvis Presley. Anita was a stunning Memphis television personality with blonde hair and a warm smile that lit up every room. She met Elvis in 1957 when his career was soaring, and their connection was immediate and electric. For years, she was his constant companion, attending events, traveling with him, and living the life of a rock star's girlfriend. When Elvis was drafted into the Army in 1958, Anita waited faithfully. She believed their love could survive anything: the separation, the fame, the constant temptations. She even turned down other opportunities to stay devoted to Elvis. But everything changed when Elvis met 14-year-old Priscilla Beaulieu in Germany. Slowly, painfully, Anita realized she was being replaced. The breakup devastated her completely. Years later, she would call it the biggest break of her life, the love that defined all others that came after. Elvis had chosen his path, and it didn't include her. The most famous love story of Elvis's life began in the most controversial way possible. Priscilla Beaulieu was just 14 years old when she met 24-year-old Elvis at a party in Germany in 1959. He was serving in the army. She was the daughter of an Air Force officer. Their age difference raised eyebrows then and would be completely unacceptable today. But in 1959, Elvis began what would become the most significant relationship of his life. Priscilla moved to Graceland in 1963 when she was 17, finishing high school while living with the world's biggest rock star. For years, they maintained the fiction that their relationship was innocent, but everyone knew better. Elvis carefully molded Priscilla into his ideal woman. He controlled her appearance, her education, even her personality. She dyed her hair black, wore heavy makeup, and learned to live in Elvis's world. They finally married on May 1, 1967, in Las Vegas, and their daughter, Lisa Marie, was born exactly 9 months later. But marriage couldn't save their relationship. Elvis's infidelities, drug use, and demanding career created insurmountable problems. By 1972, they were separated, and their divorce was finalized in 1973. Despite everything, Priscilla remained devoted to Elvis's memory after his death. If Priscilla was Elvis's wife, Ann-Margret was his soulmate. They met in 1963 while filming Viva Las Vegas, and their chemistry was undeniable both on-screen and off. Ann-Margret was a Swedish-American actress and singer with fiery red hair and a personality that matched Elvis's intensity perfectly. Their affair was passionate and serious enough to threaten Elvis's relationship with Priscilla. Ann-Margret later said they called each other soulmates and talked about a future together. She was one of the few women who could match Elvis's energy and talent. The relationship ended because of Elvis's commitment to Priscilla. But Ann-Margret never forgot him. She was one of the few people from his past who attended his funeral in 1977, and she continued to send flowers to Graceland every year on the anniversary of his death. Their connection remained special throughout their lives, representing what might have been if circumstances had been different. The daughter of Frank Sinatra was rumored to have had a brief romance with Elvis during the mid-1960s. Nancy was establishing her own singing career at the time, and both were navigating the pressures of being children of entertainment legends. Their relationship, if it existed, was kept very private and didn't develop into anything serious or long-lasting. Before she became America's sweetheart on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Moore was rumored to have briefly dated Elvis. This would have been during her early television career, long before her iconic roles. The relationship appears to have been very brief and is not well documented. After his separation from Priscilla, Elvis began dating actress Cybill Shepherd. She was a former beauty queen turned actress, known for The Last Picture Show. Their relationship was relatively brief, but received significant media attention because it represented Elvis's return to the dating scene after his marriage ended. Shepherd later spoke about their relationship in interviews, describing Elvis as charming but already showing signs of the health problems that would eventually claim his life. Linda Thompson became the most significant woman in Elvis's life after Priscilla. A former Miss Tennessee with blonde hair and southern charm, Linda moved into Graceland and became Elvis's companion for 4 crucial years. Unlike many of his previous relationships, Linda saw Elvis at his most vulnerable. She cared for him during his declining health, managed his mood swings, and tried to help him with his increasing prescription drug dependency. She was there during some of his greatest professional triumphs and his darkest personal moments. Linda genuinely loved Elvis, but the relationship became increasingly difficult as his health deteriorated. She watched him struggle with weight gain, drug abuse, and depression. The constant stress of caring for someone who was essentially self-destructing took its toll on her. By 1976, Linda realized she couldn't save Elvis from himself. She left Graceland heartbroken, but knowing she had given everything she could to their relationship. Years later, she would write songs about their time together, including I Have Nothing, which became a massive hit for Whitney Houston. Ginger Alden was Elvis's final girlfriend, a 20-year-old beauty queen from Memphis who entered his life during his last troubled year. She was Miss Traffic Safety of 1976 and had the kind of fresh-faced beauty that Elvis had always been attracted to. Their relationship moved quickly. Elvis was 42 and seemed desperate to recapture some happiness in his final months. He gave Ginger an engagement ring, though many questioned whether he was serious about marriage or simply going through familiar motions. Ginger was with Elvis during some of his final performances and witnessed his continued decline. She was staying at Graceland on August 16, 1977, when she found Elvis unconscious in his bathroom. Despite attempts to revive him, the king of rock and roll was pronounced said dead at Baptist Memorial Hospital. Ginger's discovery of Elvis's body made her a permanent part of his legend, forever linked to the tragic end of an extraordinary life. Elvis Presley's romantic life reflected the complexity of the man himself, capable of deep love but struggling with commitment, fame, and personal demons. From innocent teenage romance with Dixie Locke to the tragic final chapter with Ginger Alden, his relationships tell the story of a man searching for connection amid extraordinary circumstances. While Priscilla became his wife and Ann-Margret his great Hollywood love, each woman in his life contributed to the legend in her own way. The king may have left the building in 1977, but the stories of his heart continue to fascinate fans worldwide. Some secrets died with him at Graceland, but the love stories live on, reminding us that behind the legend was a man who loved deeply and was deeply loved in return.